Hey guys. It is me again. It's Satara. This is part two of Growing Sustainable Gardens with Satara because on part one, if you missed it, go back and catch it. But on part two, we are going to actually now begin to add the mineral blends into the water. And I'm going to then put the top part, the tower on and connect the tubing that we talked about in Growing Sustainable Gardens Part 1, the setup with Satar, right? So let's get right to it because I don't want to keep you too long, but I want you to see the process. So let's do this. I am going to start with my minerals, which is mineral A. And I don't want to make a mess, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pour it. And guys, you can't see, but I'm actually on my table right now. Let me see if I can tilt this a little bit. I just want to make sure. There you go. You can see where I am, kind of like. So anyway, what I'm going to do, because in the very first Growing Sustainable Gardens session with Satara, what I was talking to you about is that because I have 13 gallons of water, I'm going to put one of these per gallon of mineral A, right here. See that? Got it, got it. And mineral B. And while I'm at it, I do want to read to you this on the back. It is, this mineral blend is optimized for the growth of plants in the aeroponic garden system, right? So it's designed for that continuous liquid feeding. And I'm going to use this because together minerals A and mineral B is going to provide a plant nutrients that stimulate the growth of roots, leaves, flowers, vegetables, and my fruits. So I've already shaked this up. I shook it up, and I'm going to add one of these for each gallon. And I want you to see that the directions are right here on the back. So you're not gonna have to worry about, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So you're gonna add 20 milliliters each of mineral A and mineral B per gallon. So let's do it. Let's do it, let's do it. Here we go. There's one. Here's two. This is the boring part, guys. Two. And three. And this is four. And you're probably counting with me to make sure I'm doing it right, huh? This is five. And the other thing, because this is the educator in me, this is going to be seven if I do miscount. This is eight. The educator in me would say do this with your children if you have children. Right? Because we do put these in classrooms as well. So if you don't have children, it's 10. We're going to do three more. Right here. 11. 12. And 13. So I will say that if you have children, I would bring the children in to this activity and let them watch, because what I've learned is the things that children get to participate in, they're more apt to want to be a part of it. So if you're wanting your children to eat more fruits and veggies and you're growing your own sustainable garden in your house, why not get them involved, right? So that was 13 of mineral A. Now I'm going to add mineral B. Let me grab it, shake it up. Yes, and the fun part about this is for those schools and child care centers and places like that that have purchased the aeroponic garden system, it also comes with a curriculum that is aligned to the standards, the Common Core state standards and the next generation science standards, just in case you're wondering. So I told just the educator me. But you can also, if you were to get one of these for your home, why not also use the curriculum when you're at home with your children, like during the summer, at any point in time. Because we as parents, and I have two adult children, we are, as parents, we are our children's first teachers, right? So I could imagine myself doing this. Now my children are 27 and 19, but I could have imagined my children doing this with me. Like even if I were in the classroom still, I would have totally done this in the classroom. I have had an opportunity to do this at some of the child care centers here in my local area, and it was exciting to see their faces light up when they saw this process. So let's go ahead and get this done, right? So let's get one, let's get two, three, and I'm just dumping it in here, guys. 4. Now you wouldn't want them to pour this, you would do this part, but they can help you stir it up, right? 5, you could talk to them about the minerals, the pH from the first video. 6, here's 7. Even engage them in why they think plants need minerals, and all that good stuff, right? 8, 9, here's 10, 11, 2 more, 12, and 1 more. This is a good workout for my arms too. That's 13. Okay, so that's done. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sit this off to the side. I do have a little place over here where I have everything sitting close by, so I'm not walking all over the place when it's time to, because as the water lowers and you add water, you're always going to check the pH. If you don't remember about that, go back to the first video, the Growing Sustainable Garden session, first part 1. You're always going to add the minerals. Every time you add water, you're going to add minerals. You're going to always check the pH. You want to make sure that the pH is right. You want to make sure that the minerals are added. If you don't, then your seedlings, which I showed you from the first video, they're probably going to die, right? Because they're not getting the nutrients that they need. So now we have that part. I'm just going to stir it up, and I'm stirring it up with the little buoy, however you say it. And this actually comes with it as well, and you just take it and you screw it apart, screw it together. Let me show you how easy that is. And so you can see it. See? And then you literally, when you get it, you're going to have to put it together. This is something that you can let the children do, especially if you have a preschooler. They can use that wrist action to help with their pincher grasp. See how I just put that in there? Always a learning lesson. And I'm actually going to stir it up because I want those minerals to be good in there. Be careful with what you stir it with, because you don't want something that's going to mess up the alkalinity. And I trust this because guess what? It comes with it and it's supposed to sit in there. So usually I just stir it up. Now, what I'm going to do, you're going to actually see me use my muscles. Good thing I'm working out because I'm staying healthy. This is just one way. You may see me talk about other ways on my YouTube channel here of how I stay healthy. Other than growing my own food, sometimes I grab and go with my food. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, I'm going to take this and I'm going to lift it up and put it on here. And you're going to notice that I have the cord running through this little space. So what I'm going to do is strategically, I'm going to lift and I'm going to put this on here, but I have to make sure I line it up so that the tubing is actually going to, I want it to come through the little hole for now. So see how that sits on there? Now, there are screws that will go in, but just for purposes right now, I'm not going to screw those in. But you will take and you will bolt it down because you don't want someone to come over and knock it over, right? But for these purposes, what I'm doing is I'm going to get down here and I'm actually going to take and connect the pump, the hose, to the underside because there is a little tubing that runs up that this connects to. So once I turn the water on and everything, it's going to pump the water up. And the seedlings will be inside of these little ports here. So let me go ahead and do that now. Okay. Now, if my husband was doing this, he would have done it a different way. He would have had this laying down and he would have done it different. But because my hands are smaller, I can take my hands and put them in here. And remember, righty-tighty, I can take my hands and actually connect it. And I am screwing the hose to the connecting piece underneath the aeroponic tower garden system here. Just making sure that it's on really good. Giving it a little tug. Making sure it's there. Now, I wouldn't advise letting the children do this part if you have your children helping because they could accidentally knock it over if it's not latched. Now, that is there. I'm making sure the pump is down there. Everything is good. And, hang on a second, I'm going to dry my hands off a little bit. Here we go. So, now we've got that part. Remember I said you got the, and I never can say the word buoy, whatever, but you know. what it is, right? I'm going to put it down through here, and there's a little hole that I'm going to guide it through, because this is going to tell me when my water levels are getting low. So you can see this little red line right here. When that line begins to, you want to make sure that you're watching it. So when it says dropping, you want to make sure you're watching your water level, because if you don't have enough water, it will starve your seedlings and your veggies, so they won't grow. So when I put this in, I'm going to guide it through here. I'm making a lot of noise, huh? I want you to see it. You see that? How it popped up? Watch. And that's telling me that I almost had too much water. That's another thing. If it's up above that red line, you've got too much water. Mine is not. It's actually right at the red line. So that's good. That's a good thing. Now I have that put together. And if you missed seeing me how I put the grow lights on, go back to the first video and you're going to see how I put the grow lights onto it, because this actually has a top to it. And this is the little thing back here. It looks like a spider almost, that I'm going to put on here, just like this. And I always try to take the cord and put it to the back. So let me turn this around. So I'm going to put the cord at the back, so it's running down the back of my system, just like that. Okay, here we go. So now I have it put together. And again, like I said, I will normally not bolt it down. So I'm not bolting it down right now just for the sake of the video. But you will want to do that so that no one comes in and accidentally knocks it over. So you'll have these little ports that you'll put it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn the lights on. And remember in the first video I referenced a timer. This is the timer. When you are starting to grow, and if you missed the seedlings, go back to the first video to see the seedlings. But when you're starting to grow in your tower, you're going to set the lights. As they're first starting off, I usually have mine on about between 14 to 16 hours a day. So, because I wake up in the mornings at 5 o'clock to meditate, and sometimes I will, when it was in my other room, I would go meditate in that space. But since it's in the kitchen, I don't meditate in the kitchen. But because I get up at 5 o'clock to start my morning routine, I have my light set to come on at 5 o'clock in the morning. And usually about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, we're winding down. So I have my light set to go off, because your vegetables, your plants, whatever you're planting, needs that time. You're going to have the lights running all day. And I will have my blinds open, but for the most part, I have my lights going to give them that extra light that they need, right? So let me show you how this is going to work. You're going to start to hear it run. So first, I'm going to plug the lights in. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And I have a electrical cord strip back here, power strip. So if the power goes off, it will, be okay. The other thing I want to show you is when you look at this cord, you're going to see that I have like a little knot. That is for when that circuit goes off or whatever, that it kind of trips everything. I don't know the technical part of it, but you're going to want to put a little knot in it for safety. This pump, this little thing right here is, you can put it on outdoor if you're running an outdoor garden, because we do have a system that goes outdoors, but this one is indoors. And when you turn it on, it's going to show up a O for outdoor, and it's going to show an I for indoor. I keep mine on indoors, right? Because it's going to do what it's going to have. It's going to have the system to run for so many minutes, pumping the water. Then it's going to turn off and rest for so many minutes. So it's literally going to pump this water up through the aeroponic tower system to the top, flow back down, and it's aeroponic because the roots are suspended in air. So it's getting this oxygen, and it's getting the water, and it's flowing over the roots. Aeroponic, different from some of the others, from hydroponic and all that. So just a little side note there. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it up, because I do want you to kind of get the feel of everything so you can kind of hear it. And this is also the lid that covers it, that goes over the little opening right there. So let me plug this in and give you a little something. Okay. Oh, did you hear that? hear it? That's the water. It's being pumped up. Or it's flowing down. I'm going to see if I can get a little closer so you can see it. Check that out. That sound is soothing itself, right? But yeah, so once I have the seedlings in here, that water is actually flowing down. So you can put my finger in there. See the water? It's flowing all the way up through the system, and it's going to capture every little port right here, and it's going to continue to feed my seedlings as they are placed in here to help them grow. And I'm just going to move this back a little bit. So each time that I'm prepared to add more water to it, I'm just going to pour it in here. I'll actually check the pH through there. And again, like I said, if you missed it, you'll go back to the first video. I'm actually going to stop this so you can hear me while I'm finishing the top. Now, I unplugged it because as long as the pump is connected, it's going to run and go through its cycle, right? It's going to cycle through, running for so many minutes, shut off for so many minutes. So I wanted to make sure that you could hear me. But I'm excited about sharing this journey with you. I hope you'll keep coming back for Growing Sustainable Gardening sessions with me. Growing Sustainable Gardens with Satara right here on YouTube. Also, guys, like I said, you can always catch me on my TikTok, which is I am Satara, I_am_Satara. You can also follow me on Instagram, IG. My IG and my TikTok are the same. I_am_Satara. And then my Facebook page is just simply Satara Dethrow, right? So I hope that you will follow me here. I hope you will follow me on my page because I am so excited to be sharing how to grow a sustainable garden year round. You're going to get a few more ideas about what that means and why it's important for us to look at other ways of growing our gardens. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that I used to love growing gardens with my granny, right? She's gone on away from us now, but she lives here in my heart. But my granny had a garden. My granddad had a garden. And I used to love that. I loved that dirt smell. I loved, eating fresh tomatoes from the garden. I loved going out and getting the corn and shucking the corn, all that. But as we know, things are changing. So we have to change and shift with it. And hence, our aeroponic garden growing system is just one of those ways that we're going to do it. So now we're learning, I'm teaching you and educating you as well as continue to grow in my knowledge alongside a few other gardenistas and gardeners and aeroponic garden specialists how to do exactly that. Control the food that you grow. We'll get to that a little bit next time. But anyway, guys, I'm excited to take you on this journey, and I hope you'll keep tuning in. I hope you will share these videos. And yeah, you can even leave me a comment if you would like and ask me questions. I will be making sure you have my contact information to reach out to me. So that's it. You have it. Another Growing Sustainable Gardens with Satara right here today. If you missed the first video, go back and watch the very first video and turn on your notifications. You're going to miss something. I'm so excited that you decided to join me here. Let's do it. Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's grow.